Hey everyone, Leo here. Picture this. Right now, on November 19th, 2025, XRP is sitting around $2.15 after a volatile day, but behind the scenes, something massive is unfolding that most people are completely missing. Spot XRP ETFs from giants like Canary Capital, Franklin Templeton, Bitwise, and more are already live or launching this very week, pulling hundreds of millions of real XRP off the open market every single day. Analysts like Chad Steingraber and Jake Claver are warning that at current inflow rates, these ETFs could absorb the entire publicly available circulating supply, over 57 billion XRP, in under a year. Exchange reserves have plummeted to historic lows, barely 3 to 4 billion XRP left liquid, and on-chain data shows only about 58% of holders in profit right now. This isn't random volatility. This is the early stage of the biggest supply shock crypto has ever seen. Stick with me for the next hour because I'm breaking it all down with fresh data from today's X posts, on-chain metrics, and expert projections. By the end, you'll understand exactly why XRP isn't disappearing. It's being strategically locked away, setting the stage for explosive price discovery ahead. Let's dive in. Let's start with the core question. Is XRP really disappearing? The short answer is yes, but in the best possible way for long-term holders. Total supply is capped forever at 100 billion XRP. No inflation, no new minting. Circulating supply today is roughly 57 billion. Every transaction on the XRP ledger burns a tiny amount of XRP, deflationary by design. Over the years, billions have been burned already, and with volume ramping from new features like AMMs and the RLUSD stablecoin, that burn rate is accelerating. But the real game changer right now? Institutional demand via spot ETFs, buying actual XRP and removing it from circulation permanently. Just look at what's happened in the last week alone. Canary Capital's XRP CETF launched with one of the strongest debuts of any crypto ETF this year. Over $250 million in day one inflows, locking up hundreds of millions of XRP via OTC and open market buys. Today, posts on X are lighting up with updates. Canary's fund hit another $26 million in volume yesterday, pushing AUM toward $300 million fast. Franklin Templeton's EZRP is already live and pulling in pension fund money with day 2 volume exceeding $100 million. Bitwise launches tomorrow. Analysts calling for 200 to 300 million day 1. Grayscale just announced their GXRP trust is coming soon. That's 7 major funds in phase 1 with more like 21 shares, Wisdom Tree, and CoinShares right behind. Today's X is buzzing with proof. One high engagement thread from Chad Steingraber projects that just these initial funds could vacuum up 22 billion XRP in the first year at conservative estimates, scaling to nearly 40 billion if 5 more join. That's the entire public float gone unless price rises dramatically to slow acquisitions. Another post highlights exchange supply collapsing. 149 million XRP left centralized platforms in a single day recently, pushing reserves under 3 billion for the first time ever. Whales are accumulating. Retail is capitulating at these levels. Classic bottom signals. But wait, there's more building suspense here. Ripple's escrow system. 55 billion locked years ago, releasing 1 billion monthly, but most gets relocked or sold OTC to institutions, not dumped on retail. Critics love screaming infinite supply, but data shows Ripple's own holdings decreasing, and with demand now institutional, those releases are absorbed quietly. Add in the deflationary burns, millions destroyed annually, and layer on RLUSD, Ripple's new stablecoin, launching fully on XRPL, bridging trillions in value at fractions of a penny per transfer. Tweets today point out how RLUSD starts pulling volume onto XRP rails for settlements, exploding utility burns. Let's talk analogies to make this crystal clear. Imagine XRP as fresh water in a desert oasis. Total water fixed, some evaporates naturally, burns, and now massive pipelines, ETFs, are siphoning it into sealed tanks, custody vaults, for cities, institutions. The oasis level drops fast, but demand from thirsty travelers, payments, DeFi, surges. Price of a sip? It doesn't stay cheap. Or think Bitcoin post ETF launches. Exchange supply created 30 to 50%, price multiplied despite dips. XRP is on the same path, but with live utility, Ripple net processing real billions in cross-border volume yearly, seconds to settle, pennies in fees. Diving deeper into today's real-time insights from X. Jake Claver just called it a perfect storm for triple-digit XRP, saying the ETF supply shock has officially begun. Posts show Kraken glitches, flashing XRP at $90 momentarily. Hilarious, but underscores thin liquidity. Community reactions are electric. Threads warning, supply shock nobody's talking about. Charts of underwater holders at 41.5% signaling capitulation. Whales loading up quietly. One analyst noted XRP held stronger than most alts in this macro dip. Fear and greed at extremes. Perfect setup for rebound. Now, addressing the doubts head-on, because I know many of you are watching $2.15 and feeling the pain. Myth 1. ETFs buy from Ripple, no impact on price. Wrong. They buy real XRP from open markets or OTC, same as Bitcoin ETFs. Early flows often OTC to avoid slippage, but as desks dry up, exchanges get hit hard. We've seen it. Reserves at multi-year lows already. Myth 2. Price always dumps after hype. Look at history. Post-SEC clarity in 2024, XRP rallied hard. This dip? Healthy shakeout, leveraged traders liquidated, institutions stacking. Myth 3. No real demand. Tell that to the $268 million into Canary alone, or Franklin Templeton's massive AUM positioning, XRP, as a high-quality liquid asset under Basel III. Tweets today highlight Ripple's banking license progress, potential MasterCard integrations, and RLUSD vampire attacking slower chains. On-chain profitability at yearly lows, whale wallets growing, exchange outflows spiking. This is textbook accumulation phase. Building more suspense. What if scenarios? Conservative case, ETFs average $500 million weekly inflows across funds. That's tens of billions in XRP locked quarterly. Exchanges empty, premiums emerge on spot versus ETF NAV, price gaps up to $5 to $10 fast. Bullish case, macro flips risk on, ODL explodes with new partners, burns hit millions daily from DEFI and payments. Escrow exhaustion accelerates as demand dictates relocks. Analysts modeling 10 to 20 short-term, triple digits longer if adoption hits projections. Deeper still, XRPL upgrades like staking proposals, AMMs adding liquidity pools that lock XRP, sidechains for tokenization, real estate on XRPL via projects pulling more volume. David Schwartz himself reminding demand decides everything, no central control dumping. Today's posts echo this. Escrow could exhaust sooner than thought. Institutions buying what retail sells, countering more pain points. If you're thinking, why the dip despite ETFs? It's macro. Bitcoin dragging alts. Over-leveraged positions unwinding. But XRP's relative strength shines. Down less than most, holding $2 support firmly. On-chain divergence. Price lower lows, RSI higher lows, bullish reversal brewing. 58% in profit? Lowest since last bottom. This is the last cheap accumulation before institutions dominate order books. Climactic build. The disappearing XRP narrative is real, but it's engineered scarcity meeting explosive demand. Projections from today's data. Chad's math shows public supply gone in 12 months flat, without price adjustment. Jake Claver's perfect storm. ETFs plus utility plus clarity equals revaluation. Short-term targets, $3 break leads to $5 quick, then discovery. Long-term, models with full payments adoption and ETF billions hit double, triple digits easy. Important note, everything here is for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice. Crypto markets are volatile. Always do your own research and only invest what you can afford to lose. Recapping the key takeaways. XRP supply tightening aggressively via ETF custody, absorbing millions daily, exchange reserves at all-time lows, burns and lockups accelerating, utility exploding with RLUSD and partnerships. Today's X confirms the community sees the shift. From doubt to realization, this dip is the final shakeout. Insider-level analysis shows this disappearance is the catalyst for XRP's true breakout as the bridge asset for global finance. If this deep dive armed you with exclusive insights and changed how you see XRP's future, smash that like button. Aim for 20,000 likes to push this to every holder. Drop your realistic 2026 XRP price target in the comments. $10? $50? Higher? Subscribe now and hit the bell for daily alpha on XRP's biggest developments. Share this video with the entire community. Tag friends who need to understand why holding through this is positioning for life-changing gains. We're in this together, building toward the moon and beyond. Leo out.